Well, it's the end of an era, sort of. Ruud van Nistelrooy takes charge of Manchester United one last time as they face Leicester City at Old Trafford. After 3 games as interim manager, he's signing off with an unbeaten record, and Monday, Ruben Amorim officially takes the reins. Quite a journey for Van Nistelrooy, right? Absolutely. In such a short span, he's made quite the impact. He led them to a 5-2 win over Leicester in the Carabao Cup and a 2-0 victory over PAOK in the Europa League. Even the 1-1 draw with Chelsea was a solid result. Now with Leicester City up again, he'll be aiming to wrap it up with a Premier League win. He's got a lot on his plate though, especially on the injury front. Let's dive into that. First, Ahmad, who's been a hero in these recent games with that 2-goal performance against PAOK. But now he's racing against the clock to be fit for Leicester. Yes, Van Nistelrooy mentioned that they're working hard to get Ahmad back in shape for Sunday. He's been such a spark, and you can bet they want him out there. But it's really going to be a last-minute call. And Ahmad isn't the only one. Mainoo's out with a muscle injury since Villa. Van Nistelrooy confirmed he won't be back until after the international break, and United could really use his presence in the midfield. True. And it's not just Mainoo. Luke Shaw and Yoro are on the cusp of returning. Shaw's been out since February, and Yoro, who joined from Lille, has been sidelined since the pre-season. Both have resumed training, which is a huge boost. But we're still likely looking at late November before they're back in full action. It's not all bad news, though. Van Nistelrooy's lineup against PAOK included Christian Eriksen, Manuel Ugarte, and Mason Mount, all getting valuable minutes. Mount, especially his first appearance since September, might just play a bigger role under Amorim. Yeah, and Van Nistelrooy seemed optimistic. He's laid some solid groundwork for Amorim, getting these players back on the pitch at the right time. It's a great handoff, and I think we'll see Mount, Ugarte, and Eriksen playing key roles moving forward. Also, let's take a deeper look at the current injury status for Harry Maguire, Toby Collier, and Tyrell Malacia. Maguire has been dealing with a foot issue since he was forced off against Aston Villa. The injury has sidelined him for the past 6 matches. It was a tough blow for Maguire, who needed assistance to leave the field and was replaced by Matthijs de Ligt just before half-time. While Maguire has posted on social media about being out for a few weeks, there has been no firm update on his progress. Expected return November 24th, Ipswich Town away. Ruud van Nistelrooy provided some insight mentioning, Harry is still inside working on his rehab, signaling that while he's on track, he might need a bit more time to recover fully before getting back on the pitch. Toby Collier, a young talent on United's roster, was added to the injury list under somewhat unclear circumstances. Manager Erik ten Hag previously mentioned that Collier was dealing with an injury but did not specify the exact nature or extent. This injury sidelined him just as he was gaining momentum, especially with an increased need for midfield options due to other injuries. Expected return early December. Collier's absence has impacted squad depth, particularly in the midfield. While he's not a regular first-teamer, having young talents like him available is essential for managing United's congested schedule across multiple competitions. Tyrell Malacia has been out since the end of last season with a knee injury. He was initially expected to return in October, but the recovery process has taken longer than expected. In recent weeks, he has resumed training with the first team, giving fans and coaching staff hope that he'll soon be available. United is even considering giving him minutes with the under-21s to help him ease back into match fitness. Van Nistelrooy mentioned, Tyrell is the furthest along in recovery. He's been part of team training for a couple of weeks without restrictions. We might plan some minutes for him with the under-21s to see how he adapts. Expected return likely in November, potentially as early as the match against Ipswich. Speaking of the future, it sounds like Van Nistelrooy wants to stick around even after Amorim takes over. Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe are planning a big rebuild, and Onana's already voiced his support for Van Nistelrooy to stay. That would be huge. Van Nistelrooy clearly has the respect and trust of the players, and having him involved in this new chapter under Ratcliffe could bring stability and continuity. Well, let's see how Van Nistelrooy finishes. A win against Leicester would be the perfect way to cap off his run. After that, it's Amorim's turn to steer the ship, with Ipswich, Bodo or Glimt, Everton, and Arsenal on the horizon. Definitely a crucial period for United, but for now, all eyes are on Sunday, as Van Nistelrooy looks to keep that unbeaten record intact and leave on a high note. Alright folks, let's see if Van Nistelrooy can close this chapter with a bang. United versus Leicester at Old Trafford, don't miss it.